Picture a stopwatch ticking down. You have exactly 4 minutes and 40 seconds. In that brief window, you're not just moving heavy equipment, you're performing this perfectly choreographed blend of intense physical labor and continuous razor-sharp verbal communication. Welcome to this explainer on the Florida Minimum Standards Ground Ladder exam. Specifically, we're zooming in on the state exam performance script for deploying a 24-foot extension ladder as a single firefighter. This is a super high-stakes scenario. Every single movement, every single word you say is heavily scrutinized by a state examiner. It's a massive test of both muscle and memory, and today we're going to break down exactly how recruits conquer it. Okay, let's quickly look at our roadmap for this exam. We kick things off with the pre-task briefing, then move to apparatus to target ground, execute the vertical raise, secure the halyard, knock out our mandatory safety verifications, and finally wrap up with healing and the handoff. So, diving right into phase 1, the pre-task briefing. Imagine you're standing right in front of a completely stoic state examiner. Before you're even allowed to touch a single piece of equipment, your mind has to be fully engaged. You have to prove the situational awareness required of a pro. You wait for your instructions and then verbally run through this intense mental checklist. You have to declare you're in full PPE, that you'll notify the incident commander of your assignment, and that you'll monitor your physical condition. And this is critical. If you're entering an IDLH, an environment immediately dangerous to life or health, you have to state that you will go on air. You also confirm communicating with crews, utility shutdowns, finding a secondary means of egress, and working from the windward side. You literally have to rattle all of this off flawlessly while simply standing there. Which brings us to phase 2, apparatus to target ground. Now that the mental checklist is cleared, the physical clock actually starts. The second you get your assignment, you have to confirm the order out loud. Command, copy. Deploying one 24-foot extension ladder. As you walk up to the apparatus, you announce you're disengaging the ladder locking devices. And here's the kicker. Before you even get to the extension ladder, you often have to pull the roof ladder off and place it on the ground, making sure it's safely clear of the apparatus exhaust. Then you finally remove the extension ladder, resting the bed section against your body using a low shoulder carry. Try to imagine the sheer physical strain of wrestling these heavy ladders off the rig, all while talking almost like a robot, repeating the exam's mantra aloud, using proper body mechanics, back straight, lifting with my legs. The examiner is watching you like a hawk to make sure there is absolutely zero bending at the waist. Stop right here and lock this exact phrase into your memory. Missing this mandatory scene survey statement is literally an instant failure. Before taking a single step toward the building, you have to physically look up, look down, and clearly state to the examiner, I have no overhead obstructions and my terrain is clear. They absolutely must hear this statement. It basically proves you aren't about to walk a giant metal pole right into a high-voltage power line. All right, now we observed the precise choreography of actually moving to the target. You safely carry the ladder on a low shoulder with the butt end forward, and you keep the front slightly lowered so your vision stays completely unobstructed. And as you walk, you have to keep announcing your actions. Butt end facing forward, ladder slightly lowered. Once you finally reach your target location, you kneel, again, explicitly stating you are using proper lifting and lowering techniques, and place the ladder flat on the ground. It absolutely must be positioned with the dead section down on the ground and the fly section facing up. This makes sure that when you go to raise it, the moving parts are correctly oriented for deployment. Moving right along to phase 3, the vertical raise. So the crucial point now is transitioning into the intense physical strain of safely hoisting a 24-foot extension ladder perfectly vertically, totally unassisted. Put yourself in the recruit's boots for a second. You move to the tip of the ladder on the ground and slide the butt all the way into the structure. Before you even hoist it, you declare, preparing to raise ladder, maintaining contact with the ladder. Then you smoothly bring the ladder to a vertical position, placing the fly section right against the building. And of course, as it goes up, you're chanting the safety mantra. Raising ladder, using my legs, maintaining contact. It's just a continuous running broadcast of your safety parameters. Once it's vertical, you have to pull the butt of the ladder away from the building. And this step brilliantly illustrates the actual why behind these rules. Placing it at an exact distance of roughly 12 to 24 inches allows you to safely push the ladder back into the building if you start losing control while raising the fly section. You simply tell the examiner, repositioning butt a safe distance from the structure. Next up, you grasp the halyard rope to extend the fly section upward, making really sure it doesn't scrape against the building. Once you hit the desired height, well, you can't just trust gravity here. You have to visually confirm the locking mechanisms, which are known as the dogs, point right at them and confidently deliver this exact phrase. Both my dogs are locked. You then follow that up by stating, the tips are in contact with the structure. Okay, we are successfully in the air. Phase 4. Securing the halyard. The ladder is up, but now the exam actually tests your fine motor skills and technical knot-tying precision under serious pressure. Your arms are probably burning at this point. You have to lift the ladder entirely, look up to monitor the tips, move the butt back to roughly 6 feet away without walking backward, and then lock in the rope. Notice how you must perfectly execute this 3-step rope sequence while keeping one foot touching the bottom of the ladder to maintain constant contact. You pass the excess halyard rope through the ladder between the rungs at about waist height. Then, pull the slack out, keeping it taut to form a bight, and tie a clove hitch around the upper rung, finishing it all off with a safety knot, all the while narrowing, passing halyard through ladder, removing excess slack, tying a clove hitch on a bight.
Which brings us to Phase 5, mandatory safety verifications.
The physical heavy lifting is mostly done, but before verifying safety, you actually have to rotate the ladder to ensure the fly section is in the correct orientation. And what's really interesting about this is how the material of the ladder dictates your next move. For metal and fiberglass extension ladders, which are the most common in state testing, the fly section has to be positioned out for climbing. But if you were using a wooden extension ladder, the fly section actually has to be positioned in. And whatever you do, do not rotate the ladder in silence. The state examiner is actively listening for your verbal acknowledgement of the pivot. You have to explicitly say pivoting ladder left or pivoting ladder right, followed by fly section positioned out. So we've reached the absolute climax of the exam. The examiner is basically holding their breath waiting for very specific words. After performing an arm's length test to verify the climbing angle, you arrive at the ultimate verbal checklist. You have to stand perfectly still, resist any urge to rush, and deliver these 5 statements with absolute confidence. I have 4 points of contact. Both dogs are locked. Halyard is tied and secured. I am at the proper climbing angle. My ladder is safe and secure to climb. Skip one single word and your 4 minutes of sweating could be for nothing.
Finally, we hit Phase 6, healing and the handoff.
We are in the final stretch. The ladder is up, but a true professional knows that vigilance has to be maintained even as physical exhaustion really peaks. The evolution isn't over until the ladder is officially handed off. You lock into your chosen healing position. You can choose the underneath method, standing beneath it, grasping both beams, or the outside method, with one foot on the bottom rung. Whichever you go with, you apply constant pressure to the structure and loudly declare that you are watching for falling objects and descending personnel. You're essentially acting as a human anchor here. The final step. You must hold your ground and maintain total, unwavering control until you deliver this final command. Safeties, please take my ladder. And you don't just walk away. You wait. You continue holding the ladder until your relief explicitly acknowledges you and takes physical control of the beams. Only then is the deployment truly complete. So, what does this all mean? Could you flawlessly execute 20 highly technical steps, constantly micromanage your body mechanics, and broadcast every single safety check out loud, all while the clock races toward 4 minutes and 40 seconds? It really leaves you with a profound respect for the intense physical and mental discipline demanded of our emergency responders right from day 1 of the academy. Next time you see a fire crew seamlessly throw a ladder against a building in a matter of seconds, ask yourself how much invisible choreography and drilled precision is happening right in front of your eyes.